Pros and cons of the cambered bar.
Don't use it.
Okay.
Next question.
Next question.
That's all the questions you have?
Well, we got some good questions, but we're saving those for Alan to ask.
We're going to let Alan ask it. We're going to make Alan ask the question. So, I don't know why you'd need a cambered bar if you can use a straight bar.
Okay. Because from what some of the stuff says it's lower, safer, can lift more weight, but does it disrupt your stuff?
Why would you lift more weight? The only advantage would be that it doesn't roll.
Okay.
Other than that, there's no advantage to it.
Does it have any different physics, though?
No.
Okay.
No, it rights itself right over it hangs down and drops. It would, if you bend forward, it's going to kind of cam forward a little bit.
Okay.
But it'll end up right over the middle of your foot if you're in balance with it, because it has to. I don't see any point in it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. On the back, does it matter if you get out of sync on the parallel level of the bar?
Yeah, it kind of needs to be as level as possible. Now, there are people with shoulder injuries that can't carry it level.
So how do you correct for that?
Well, you don't necessarily.
Okay.
If it's not real bad, if it's just 3 or 4 degrees, it doesn't matter that much.
Okay.
Now it might at 805, but for our purposes, it's not that critical.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be something you just, spend a whole bunch of time on.
Okay, so it's not a huge issue.
It's not a huge issue.
Okay.
The worse it gets, the bigger an issue it gets.
Okay.
Okay? Tiny little asymmetries are going to be there because we're humans,
Makes sense.
There's nothing completely symmetrical. If you measure carefully enough, there's nothing completely symmetrical.
Why would we? What's the big advantage of shoes? Because I'd never
big
worn
advantage of shoes. Well, there's several advantages. It stabilizes the foot, keeps your arch supported, and provides a little heel lift that most people find helpful because it allows you to use a little bit more quad because it shoves your knees a tiny little bit forward. The primary advantage is stability, though.
Okay.
And it's more surface area interacting with the floor, which has a lot to do with the balance analysis we do in the full seminar.
Okay. Is there any specific kinds of shoes that are more advantageous? I've just
weightlifting shoes.
Okay.
Where are those dew winds? Who's got those? Frank's got those dew winds. Those are pretty good shoes.
Okay.
If you can find them.
Well, that's the hard part for me because I've got wide feet and size 13.
That's why you want the dew winds.
I don't think they sell these anymore.
They don't.
No.
If you can find some used ones, those are all real wide.
Okay.
So if you got wide feet, you can't wear an Adidas.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get your foot in an Adidas. Adidas are for narrow. They're like for B-width feet. They're not much good for normal humans.
Yeah, these are the new ones on Amazon. They're a little bit wider, but they're still pretty tight on my feet. So.
Most Adidas are famous for all being too narrow.
Yeah.
If you've got an E-width foot, you can't wear an Adidas.
Okay.
Asics usually ends up with all that business.
Okay.
With a wide foot. Is that it?
That was it?
That all you've got?
That's all I got. Well, there's the fecal transplant question that Frank.
That's a Frank question.
Alan's going to answer. Not Frank. No.
Frank's going to answer that question. Not me. That's not my bailiwick.
I got 2 questions.
All right.
First is the U.S. Strength Lifting Federation.
Yes.
What are your plans for that?
Well, we're working on that. We're it's gonna involve some lawyer shit. You've got to get incorporated, and then you've got to get 501c3, and then you've got to get somebody to insure you. Right? So all of that stuff's got to be done. But the idea is that we will eventually have a actual sanctioning body that sanctions the 3 lift meets according to the actual rules, Our deal is going to be way different than powerlifting. So
Can you give us a backstory, because we're kind of...
Well, it's the squat, the press, the deadlift, right? There's no supportive gear. There's no sumo.
And it's a way out.
We have a way out, not a way in. And the judges have no interaction with the lifter on the platform at all. There's no down signal, no up signal, no depth, no nothing. The judges just judge the lift. Did the lifter execute the lift according to the rules? So it's a completely different approach to the deal, not to mention the fact that the bench press has been replaced by the press. Just solves a lot of problems. Solves a lot of problems. It's a safer kind of a meet, since there's not any craziness that goes on like there is in supported powerlifting. What else is different? I think the way out is one of the most important things that we came up with. The way out is a critical difference. You realize that I have heard of federations with a 48-hour weigh-in. Now think about that. You weigh in on Thursday and then compete, supposedly, let it go, compete supposedly in that weight class on Saturday. This is nothing but masturbation. That's all it is. It is just game playing to make everybody. So in other words, you could lose I have heard of people losing 40 pounds of body weight in the space of a week and a half to get into a weight class, to weigh into a weight class. You know, so a 190-pound guy lifts as a 165. Well, what does weight class even mean? What does that word mean? You know, if they're going to let you do that, why don't y'all just mail your total in? Just email what you did and save the meet director a lot of time and money. You know, you just mail in your total. Right? So,
one more question.
All right.
Pulling, shoes. I train wearing the do-wins, but when I get up heavier and I'm getting ready for a competition, I find I lift better in slippers.
Yeah, a lot of people like that.
Is there any reason I should or should not continue to do that?
No, I don't think a half-inch heel is going to make that much difference. In fact, I found that my best pulling was done in my squat shoes that had a little heel, because I've done it both ways. And the idea is that if you eliminate this distance, it's that much. It's not that much. It saves you that much range of motion on the pull. Well, it's really not here. It's here. Right? And if that much is critical, man, I just don't know. I don't know. I can see a guy with long femurs and short tibias wanting to lift, wanting to pull in flats. I can certainly see that. Right? If you'll draw that anthropometry in your head, you'll see that the knee is forward. It tends to be more forward on somebody with a real long femur. So somebody built like that might well do in flat, but I'm telling you, you guys, slippers don't support the foot. There's no arch support in a slipper. You know, I mean, this shit's hard enough on our bodies. I want my feet supported. You know, I would like it if somebody would make a flat shoe with some kind of an actual sole. You know, a thin, hard sole with a built-in arch support. That'd be real cool. And I'd be happy to say that's a great idea for certain people, but slippers are just barefoot, you know. So I just assume, and it changes the mechanics of the interaction of the foot with the floor too. So I like shoes better than slippers, but whatever you lift best in, that's what you need to do.
So I think I read on the forum at one point that you said that you have a hiatal hernia. I was diagnosed with one 20 years ago.
A third of the population has a hiatal hernia.
Is there? You have no concern that that could be aggravated by
I do.
deadlifting and squatting?
Sure, could be. What are you going to do? Not train, you know? I noticed you taking some Tums earlier.
Yeah.
Does it bother you all the time?
No, it's not all the time. It's just today was a bad day.
I manage mine with just, you know, diet.
Yeah.
I take some, what I do the only time it bothers you that really has to be dealt with is before you go to sleep.
I take Tums every night before I go to sleep.
Why don't you do this? Instead of taking an antacid, what I have found beneficial is 1.5 grams of vitamin C, in addition to a couple of multiple mineral tablets. Gives your stomach something else to do. All right?
Okay.
Because heartburn, I don't know, has anybody else got any expertise in this? Heartburn is not so much in older people, we lose the ability to efficiently produce stomach acid. So the stomach tends to try to overproduce it at times. You know how a Diet Coke settles your stomach down?
Yeah, sometimes that helps me when I have heartburn.
Why would that be? Diet Coke's got a pH of about, what, 4.5, something like that?
I have no idea.
It's 4.5. It's fairly acid, fairly acidic. Well, the reason it is you put that acid in your stomach, and your stomach says, "Oh shit, there's some acid. I can calm down. I can relax." Right? So I just take two. You know, I take either 2 or 3 500 milligram ascorbic acid tablets before I go to sleep. I don't usually have any trouble. Like once every 3 weeks, I'll have problems with it. I haven't had a Zantac in, 3 or 4 weeks. But I also have learned what I can and cannot get away with eating before I go to bed, too.
Yeah. Pizza's what kills me.
Yeah, me too. It's the tomatoes.
I think.
It's the
know if it was
tomato
that
shit
bread.
on there. Something about that aggravates my real bad. I can't eat tomato sauce based stuff. We'll make pizza, but I'll use a white sauce on it. But the tomatoes, spaghetti sauce or pizza like that will fuck my stomach up if I eat it at night. I can't eat beans at night either. Beans are hard for some people to digest. And if I eat beans at night, I'll be dead. I'll throw up in my mouth, and I'll I hope I wake up before I inhale. You know, it's real bad.
I can live without beans, but I do like pizza from time to time.
Just eat it for lunch. Eat it for lunch. Don't eat that shit before you go to sleep. You'll just learn if you just start keeping track of what you ate the nights it was bad, and you'll see a pattern.
Yeah, beer used to really do it for me too. Until I switched to wine, I took care of it.
Beer sometimes, real hoppy beer bothers my stomach. The Pilsner's fine, but a real hoppy IPA fucks my stomach up. And I don't like the hops anyway, so. Scotch doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I could try that.
It bothers your stomach?
No, it's the best drink.
Bourbon, Scotch, whiskey doesn't bother my stomach.
Might have to
Not
try
at all. Now, if I drink too much wine before I go to sleep, it seems to aggravate it pretty bad. But I'm real bad about drinking too much anyway. So.
Me too.
But the beer doesn't bother me. So my suggestion would be just start logging make a note of if you get up in the middle of the night with some stomach problems, what did I have to eat? How much of it did I eat? I'll tell you, I hate to be gay like this, but gluten, bread, you know, bothers some people's stomachs like that in terms of
Bothers me.
heartburn.
I stay away from it.
And if you're one of these people, you just need to not eat, don't eat bread and shit before you go to bed.
In fact, I had bread for lunch and then I had heartburn. I don't know if it was the bread or the meat.
It's probably the bread.
Could have been.
If you've noticed it before, it's probably that. Sometimes it bothers me, sometimes it doesn't. But I do notice an association with wheat flour and stomach sometimes. Sure do.